What's up, Ken?
How you living, Will?
I'm surviving.
Yes. Yes, you are.
And in
I'm
today's
grateful.
world, that's all we can do.
For real, dog.
But I have a question for you. Who's the one person on this earth, on God's green earth, that when they tell you to jump, you say how high?
Other than my mama?
Your mama. And today's album is about a mama.
Oh, yeah. Which is why it caught me all those years ago.
Really?
Yeah. That's the whole reason I still even listen to that artist till this day.
Okay. And the album we're talking about is Lenny Kravitz's sophomore effort, Mama Said.
Yeah.
Now, Lenny Kravitz has an interesting history because I first knew him as Romeo Blue.
Romeo Blue, baby. Yep.
Lisa Bonet's boyfriend.
Boyfriend, yeah. See, they weren't even married yet.
That's right.
Because she blew up on the Cosby Show.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, that's right. And then she had her own sitcom.
Different World.
A Different World. And then she was unemployed.
Yeah. For the most, yeah.
And a little bit after that, she was divorced.
Yeah, that big whirlwind. And it's crazy because they're still friends.
Well, yeah, and look, in show business, fame is fleeting, right? Because who would have known that Romeo Blue would have survived all these years as kind of a sort of iconic rock star?
Yeah. Now, what I do love about Romeo Blue is okay. One, I don't know where that boy came up with that name, but hey, he did, and he grew comfortable in his own skin. I love the fact there's a good thing I don't rule the world because I would give little kids jacked up names. And the thought of seeing a little black boy in elementary school sitting there as the teacher, first day of school, is reading the roll, and she says, Leonard Kravitz, and this little black boy raises his hand. Yeah, see, that makes me laugh every time.
Oh, man. And okay, so this is his second album. His first album,
Let Love Rule.
Let Love Rule. The album had a couple of good songs on it, but by far my least favorite Lenny Kravitz album.
In his catalog, I agree with you.
And I like the sound of the album because he's doing a psychedelic throwback.
Yes. Now, thank you. I'm glad you said that because we're not dissing the album. We like the album. Don't get it twisted. We just realized that was him showing the potential to come.
Right, but he hadn't put everything together yet.
Yeah, exactly. He was still feeling himself. But at least he was using his name, accepting who he is.
Right.
I love that.
Now, when he really blew up, though, was with this album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this album has sold over 2 million copies, released in 1991, man. I remember it well. Yeah. Okay? And it was a top 10 album all over Europe. But in the U.S., and I was surprised, it barely cracked the top 40.
True.
I didn't know that. You know, I mean, I thought this album was a top 10 hit, guaranteed.
Which is funny because in hindsight, besides you and I used to play track 2 back in the day when it came out in the band. But yeah, other than you and I, lovers of music in 1991, we could count on 2 hands the amount of friends that were like rocking this album.
That's true. And everybody heard It Ain't Over Till It's Over. That was the big hit.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll save our commentary when we get to that song. But I really did. I thought that he was on the map. He was huge. Now he has a national name. He's not Lisa Bonet's boyfriend or husband. She is Lenny Kravitz's wife.
Yep.
Soon to be ex-wife.
Yeah.
Because, Ken, this is the divorce album.
Oh, yes. This is the realization album. Yeah, I'm going to say this.
Love is fleeting, Ken.
Yeah. This is where he realizes that, okay, yeah, this ship is sailing and I ain't on it.
Yeah, and like other famous divorce albums, we'll kind of go through and say, yep, that's the divorce song right there. Yeah. Oh, wait, they're getting back together. Nope, they're breaking up.
Nope.
Oh, wait, she came and visited him.
Wait,
nope. So we're going to go through that on this one, too. You know, and what we do see in this album, and this is something we'll talk about at length, is he wears his influences on his sleeve. There is no hiding his influences on this album.
And you know what? I've said it. I used to say it back then when we were kids, and I still say it today. The world's a better place when, if you're going to wear your influences on your sleeve, that your influences are great.
Right. John Lennon, Led Zeppelin, Sly and the Family Stone.
You know, yes.
Curtis Mayfield,
Earth, Wind & Fire.
Cream.
Yes. As long as you are paying homage to the greats, please, then make the world a better place.
Keep playing.
Yes.
I'm with you on that. So let's jump into the album, man.
All right.
I'm ready to do this.
Do it.
First song on the album, Fields of Joy.
Yeah.
Love this song, man. When I first heard this album, Fields of Joy initially, like the first few chords, when it comes in, you think, okay, flower power. Mm-hmm. He's still in the let love rule phase, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But then, after that soft acoustic beginning, you hear the bombast. And the first thing I thought was, oh, Led Zeppelin. That's how does Zeppelin do? They want to start off soft, easy, and then they just start blasting you with that rock sound.
I could see that, considering the fact Lenny produced this album. And, the thing about Lenny, up until his fifth album, it's all analog. So he records old school the way Zeppelin and Jimmy Page did.
Okay.
And whereas Jimmy Page produced all of Zeppelin's albums, he drove that ship. So Lenny doing the same thing here, I get it. That makes sense. Now this track, when I first heard it, it had to grow on me. For me to feel what, and grasp how you described it, like, okay, it's light, then bam, in your face. And also, hey, if y'all don't do this when you hear new music, you have to listen to a track at least twice in a row.
I feel you on that.
So after the first listen, okay, then second listen, it's like the first one's the familiarization, and then your second is when you get to actually sink your teeth in.
Well, after that soft acoustic intro, when I first heard this song, I thought, okay, whatever. He's doing Let Love Rule too, right? But then once he gets into that electric bombast, and then he has a guest guitarist on this track, Slash.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the relationship between Lenny and Slash?
Other than the fact that they're both bluish?
Right.
Yeah. That's black and Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. No, so they're boys. They go back. They went to school together. They went to high school together.
Okay.
And and so that's why when you see them random, like on tour or whatnot, you'll be like, oh, it's a clip, and Lenny Kravitz on stage somewhere, and you're like, oh, there's Slash. That's odd. Yeah, no, because they go way back.
Okay. Well, for me, when you put that soft beginning in with that hard electric build, like it's building up to that, and then Lenny's falsetto voice at first, which he uses a lot on this album. It's not the last that we've heard of it. Okay? He uses that falsetto. But then, towards the end of the song, it's almost like after he rocks out, it's like he's remembering, oh, wait, I got soul in my voice, and I'm going to project that to the world too. I'm going to project my falsetto, I'm going to project my rock voice, and my soul voice, all in one song.
Oh, yeah. And, again, first listen, okay, yeah, I had to listen to it more than once for it to grow on me and to feel it. Because I'm like, why would you open your album off with this? Because we talk about coming out the gate
that
swinging.
1-2 punch.
Yes, right, for that strong opener. And then it stopped. It dawned on me. One of the songwriters on this track, Michael Caiman.
Okay.
So, Michael Caiman, because y'all are like, what? Who's Michael Caiman? Michael Caiman, composer, arranger, and if you're listening to this, then that means you're Generation X. You grew up when we did. The 90s, 2000s, the films that we saw, the soundtracks, the songs, music is playing during the movie. Michael Caiman is the guy who wrote it. He got his start working with Pink Floyd, I want to say The Wall.
Okay.
But point is, he got his start as working with Pink Floyd. You've heard his stuff. His significance so if you were a geek musician, such as myself, it's like the equivalent of working with decades before, if Leonard Bernstein. Now,
Okay.
you know that name from the REM song.
Right.
So that's the significance. If guys out of Georgia are going to put some composer's name in their song, that's significance. So that's the type of clout Michael Caiman had.
Okay. And look, not every opener has to blast you out of the room, right? It doesn't. When we talked about David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust album, the first song on there, 5 Years followed by Soul Love, those aren't the big bombast songs that punch you in the face. But in an album of themes, they were appropriate where Bowie fit them in. So, and look, it's only that intro that says, hey, remember me, remember Let Love Rule, that you would even question, because once him and Slash start rocking, you're like, oh, this is why he opened the album with this song.
I agree with you. I believe now, after the first listening, this was the appropriate choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. I agree too. Well, let's move on to the second track. And we're not finished with Slash.
Yeah, no, because after he managed to say, oh my goodness, I'm working with Michael Caiman. I'm gonna get my homeboy in here, Slash, because I'm like, we know the one song track that Slash is playing on. I'm like, why is he on this one? Well, because his homeboys work with Michael Caiman, he got him in.
That's right. And Kravitz wrote the second song, Always on the Run, with Slash. And the album's title is Mama Said. You could have called this song Mama Said.
Yep.
And been just fine.
Yep.
Because every verse is, my mama said. What's your mama telling you, Ken?
My mama telling me I ain't right in the head. That's what she's telling me.
And look, this song, man, this was a radio staple in the 90s. Okay, so you heard It Ain't Over Till It's Over on the pop stations. You heard Always on the Run on the rock stations. Mm-hmm. All right, straight ahead rocker here, but it has some funky bass. That bass is funky on this track.
And the horns.
And the horns, because the horn accents after the chorus, they lead to that big horn solo at the end of the song. Yes. Dude, take me away, Lenny. Yep. I'm good with it. Because he used a straight ahead rock song, heavy, hard rock song.
Start straight up with that guitar riff.
Because a lot of times when you get horns, you're using horns in like a song from like the Rolling Stones. They use the horn sections a lot. Or you're using them in 70s soul and R&B. I guarantee you Lenny Kravitz liked the Stones and he liked that soul and R&B from the 70s.
Yep. And I bet
throwing some horns in.
Still has those vinyl.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it a bit. Okay? And when we think about who he's playing tribute to, okay, all music, the site allmusic.com, where I decide if I'm going to listen to an album or not, they said that this is Sly Stone meets Hendrix. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, because you and I have listened to Sly Stone's albums.
Yes.
Now, there are songs on here we're going to point out that's Sly Stone.
Yeah.
Just because you have some horns in your section doesn't mean that you're Sly Stone.
And also,
and just because you're a black guitarist doesn't mean you're Hendrix.
And I'm gonna say that review whatnot was probably when this came out, because back
this is internet era.
Okay, because I know 91, they didn't know necessarily where to place Lenny.
Well, you know what? You had two black guitarists of prominence, Vernon Reid and Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah,
right.
And Lenny, I don't even count him. I don't call him a guitarist. Let's say.
Okay.
Not to discredit him. I don't mean any ill will about that. But yeah, as far as black people holding a guitar, an electric guitar, with distortion coming out. You're right. Vernon Reid and Lenny Kravitz.
Right. And look, this song is a dedication to Kravitz's mother, actress Roxy Roker.
Yes.
Who is she? Who is she?
Helen Willis of the Jeffersons.
All right. And if there's someone who wasn't around when the Jeffersons was around, who are the Jeffersons?
Oh, the Jeffersons, George and Wheezy, baby. It was a television show in the late 70s, early mid 80s.
Yep.
And it's still on some mini channels and whatnot.
Syndication.
And you'll laugh. And also, Al Roker, Weatherman, cousin.
Really?
It's hidden in plain sight once you say Roxy Roker, Al Roker.
Oh, they're related.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, and funny enough, she was in an interracial relationship on the show.
Yes, because Tom Willis was a white man on the show, and their 2 kids, the son Alan was white, and the daughter Jenny was black. Why do I remember this? Now, ask me my mama's birthday. I'm not going to know. But ask me something trivial like that.
That's awesome.
Now, just going to throw this out since I'm laying out trivial, and I was funning on the idea of Leonard Kravitz, first day of school at elementary. Lenny is named after his uncle, who was a posthumous Medal of Honor winner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Korean War. Had to throw that out. And his father served. Dad was a Green Beret.
Lenny Kravitz's father was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
You're welcome.
I had no clue. Okay.
So, yeah, we're always going to represent because that's how we roll.
That's how we roll. No, okay. I had no clue, man. That's interesting. Now, what about Slash as a guitar player?
Slash.
Because in recent years, he's pretty much, been a guitar player for hire when he's not touring with Guns N' Roses or doing his solo stuff.
Slash is...
He'll play with anybody.
And what I love about Slash is a rock and roll guitarist. Flat out. And that, not to take away from him, because if you can get on YouTube and see him playing with B.B. King, and guess what? If B.B. King is going to allow you to stand next to him and produce notes, then okay, you're all right. So it's all good. But and Slash did well, holds his own. But Slash is a rock and roll guitarist.
Absolutely.
Just all out.
Stones,
Unapologetic,
Aerosmith.
yes.
Straight
And I
up
love it.
rock guitarist.
That's why you always see him playing his Les Pauls.
All right. Let's move on. Track 3, Ken.
Because, I'll
I know,
talk
man.
about that all night.
Well, you're going to have chances to talk about, guitar playing throughout the album. But let's move on. Yeah. Song 3. Stand By My Woman. Okay? And this is a ballad. Now he's slowing it down. After Always on the Run, which, pick things up.
Yeah.
And then the bombast of Fields of Joy, he's slowing it down. Now, who do you hear him playing tribute to in this song? Because to me, it's very clear.
That's all. Because I did not think about that. What caught me, that grabbed me about this song, is that this is the first use of the piano.
Yep,
On
absolutely.
the album. And this song gives us a peek into his writing.
Well, if you notice at the very beginning of the song, it's a very sparse instrumentation. It's the piano, a drum beat, right, and a little bit of bass, slow tempo. Dude, this is John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band written all over it.
That makes sense too.
All over. But then, once he hits that chorus, oh wait, I'm Lenny Kravitz and I have soul in my voice, so I'm hitting that soul. Okay? Because Prince had to have been one of his inspirations.
You think?
There's a little bit of that vibe.
Well, they toured in the late 90s together.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have never seen either one of them in concert. Rest in peace, Prince.
Yeah.
One of my biggest regrets in life, not seeing Prince in concert.
Same here. Well, I didn't see him either, but for some reason, you'd think I'd regret it. Especially since I used to dream about that white cloud guitar. But going back to, hey, I'm a guitarist. That's what we do. We're dorks. When I hear this song and other tracks on the album, this one particularly, as you bring it up, as it's sparse and it's built in, you can tell. And this gives credit to Lenny, the fact that he is a multi-instrumentalist. Because I bet a paycheck. This track, that's all Lenny. That's him at the studio at night, because during this period of time, yeah, he had a lot on his mind. He has something to say. And if that song title don't tell you that he has a lot on his mind, something to say. So yeah, that's him at night. You got to remember, this is also early 90s, almost said late 80s, but 91, right? 991.
Probably recorded 90,
so
early 91.
And we know he does analog. So you're looking at actual physical tape. You only got so much space where you're making the song, and studio time, all the things that we take for granted now, 21st century, that we do with our MacBooks. People were paying for all those simple buttons we push. So, as his therapy, if you will, sitting there at night, flushing out these songs, laying down the parts, laying down the tracks, and you can hear it in its sparseness.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that.
Oh, absolutely. And look, we talked about the John Lennon influence in this song, the 70s soul, but he has a sax solo on this song, okay? And when I hear that, I hear mid-1970s Hall & Oates, like She's Gone, that kind of era Hall & Oates, because Hall & Oates, before they discovered synthesizers and cocaine, could have been a soul group.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, is there a white man that sounds more like a black man than Daryl Hall?
If Philly soul is here, they are wrapped around it.
That's right.
Yeah, they are almost the adopted children within the Philly soul movement.
Absolutely. So, when those horns come in on the song, again, another song with horns.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny's throwing those accents on just to remind you this is not a straight ahead rock album or Led Zeppelin tribute. We're going to throw all my tributes in here on one album.
I wonder if Lenny plays sax, because as you pointed out, it comes in. I think of album number 1.
Yeah.
And what's the first song, or the only song really that grabs you and heard on the radio?
The title track.
Roll. Yeah. And what sticks out? Even now, I ain't heard the song Month of Sundays, but the sax line.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the credits or the liner notes for that. But let's move on, man. I mean, because this is a long album.
Yeah, press. Yeah.
So, song number 4, the big hit. This is the one that broke this album wide open. It ain't over till it's over. And we said, man, look, this is his divorce album, right?
Yeah.
But there's one thing about this album. Dude. Hope. The song has hope in it.
Yeah.
Has hope. The song before this, Stand By My Woman.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand by my woman. He's got hope. This thing isn't over yet.
Because this is
where
we're
good.
It's falling apart, and he's still trying to pull that plane up from the nosedive.
I know this isn't a concept album. Okay? It's not. It's but it almost tells a story. Me and my girl are walking through the fields of joy. Oh, wait. Oh, no. We broke up. So I got to remember all those things my mama taught me, and figure it out. Oh, wait. No, I'm going to stand by my woman. Oh, wait. She ain't calling me back. Oh, wait. It's not over till it's over. Right? She hasn't said it's over yet. And I just wanted to go into the theme here.
Oh, snap. And you can keep it going for the rest of the track.
For the whole, you might just do that for fun, man. But, dude, we said that the horns aren't over yet. Dude, throwing them in again. Because on this song, the Phoenix Horns are featured. Who'd they play with?
Oh, snap. The Phoenix Horns. Then they play with my band that I love, because hence is why they're called the Phoenix, brother. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's right.
And, hey, if you're going to write a song that sounds like it should be on the Earth, Wind, and Fire track, you might as well use their horns.
That's right. Hey, look. Again, I mentioned Hall & Oates on the last song, right?
Oh, yeah.
Once you hear that guitar solo, that sounds like a Hall & Oates guitar solo.
Oh, it straight up does. I got to say something about the horns.
Keep talking about horns,
okay,
man.
So you know that your band has a bad horn section when they are able to tour and play about on their own cred. Because like I said, Phoenix Horns, I remember seeing them on the Arsenio Hall show one night. They were sitting with the because Earth and Fire horns, and in other places, Earth and Fire horn section, Phoenix horns. Them, Tower of Power, same thing. Where it's horn section, Tower of Power. I was, oh snap, those are some bad individuals.
Yeah, and look.
Oh, and Memphis horns.
The thing about this song, I have always loved this song. It takes you back to those old 60s Motown records, to those old 70s soul records that we love so much, with the string section, with the horns.
And those harmonies laid on top.
Oh.
And, my personal favorite, brother.
Uh-oh.
The falsetto.
The falsetto, yep. And
because the first time I heard this song, I was walking, it just slapped me upside the head. It's like, ooh. Because I'm all about the falsetto.
And what I like about this is that in the first song, he uses the falsetto in the verses.
Yeah.
And in the chorus is when he sounds like Lenny with that distinctive rock voice.
Yep.
In this one, he's using a soulful voice in the verses and the falsetto's hitting in the chorus.
Yep.
So he flips it around. I just love little things like that, just to mix up the songs.
We're all about
to distinguish them from each other.
Yep.
And it also includes a sitar. And for those who don't know, a sitar is a huge Indian stringed instrument. And it became famous here in the United States when George Harrison discovered it and started playing it on Beatles tracks.
Hanging out with Ravi Shankar.
That's right.
Who, because we are in Texas, I have to give the shout out. His daughter is Nora Jones, also from Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that. Ravi's getting around. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you, Ravi. All right. But, man, this song, look, a great song is a great song, Ken. And this is the big hit.
Is a great
Top 5 song right here. Huge song. Broke through. That's why I was shocked that the album only barely broke the top 40. Because this song, you could not escape this song.
You could not.
Because the video is his tribute to the Doors appearance
on that Sullivan show,
all right,
baby.
where the Smothers Brothers, where they did "Touch Me."
Yeah.
Okay, but remember, "Touch Me" had the horns in it.
Yep. They can't see me because I'm doing my Jim Morrison sway right now.
Oh yeah,
like I'm high and drunk at the same time.
And at least on Wikipedia, they claim that Kravitz dressed nearly exactly the same way Jim Morrison did on the Smothers Brothers. Okay, and so he's actually paying tribute to that performance with this video.
So the first time I saw this video, back in the day when it came out, I was sick and I'm at home, and I had a lot of NyQuil because I was trying to crush whatever I had so I go to school the next day. And
Nerd.
And I totally. Now, just finished watching Jacob's Ladder, trippy movie in itself. This video came on.
It's a crazy movie.
And Lenny looked like the Predator because his dreads weren't full long. And I've been tripping. And I was like, what? And then the guitarist, I think that was Craig Ross in the video.
But did not play on the song.
Just in the video. But he's his guitarist now with his little fro looking like Bob Dylan, bass player looking like Robert Plant. I'm sitting there. And, in the dark by myself watching this, I'm like, oh my Lord, trying to touch my face because I couldn't feel it. Yeah, it was pretty trippy, but I love the song.
That's awesome. I'm still cracking up. You had Robert Plant on bass playing with the Predator.
And I know, that was straight up trippy.
Oh my goodness. But look, a great song is a great song. And ultimately, you got to have a great melody, which he does. Obviously, the song is autobiographical to him. It means something. So it just has a little bit more coming from the gut on this one.
And the progression is the same. Because, again, only so many notes, right? We got 12 notes.
That's right.
That's all we're working with. This is the same progression that Al Green used to grab us with I'm So Tired of Being Alone.
Oh, wow. Okay. One of my favorite Al Green songs.
Boom. Yeah. Which also is the same progression because Al Green grew up and he heard Duke Ellington use this same progression with In a Sentimental Mood. And we also heard Zeppelin use this progression with the Rain song. So it's tried and true. And every time you hear this progression, this is one of those things. Oh, they're gonna grab me right now. They're about to grab me in the feels.
Yeah, it happens every time. Every song you said just
exactly.
stabs me in the heart.
Everyone I named.
Yep.
They're like, oh, right there in the heart.
Okay, let's move on from the big hit.
Press.
Song number 5, More Than Anything in This World. Look, I got to be honest, man. The song puts me to sleep.
See?
All right, I like the vocals, but the feeling of that organ, to me, it just drowns this song. And I'm drowning in this song. And so it's a criticism only because it's not for me.
Yeah.
But, to me, I feel like the song is more of a mantra than it is an actual song.
Yes. Now, for me, because I know you didn't care for it, what grabbed me about it is what you just said, because of the mantra of it. Because it's that fine line between love and obsession. And since we're saying this could have been a theme album, hey, it ain't over till it's over. And guess what? More than anything in this world, woman.
Oh, this is him begging, take me back, please.
So that drive, more than anything in this world.
The last song was Hope. This is Desperation.
Now, I will say, I would love, if he would have done this without the keys and just the guitar. Or 2 guitars. Or just something to where his expression, more so to where the obsession would win over a little bit more.
And this actually feels like a song that could have easily been inserted on that Let Love Rule album.
Yes. Snap.
What?
So, back in the 90s, after this, around the 3rd album, Lenny Kravitz did an MTV Unplugged.
Did he play this song?
That's what popped in my head. I need to go back and see whether he did this song, because I would have loved to heard this song acoustic unplugged, because it would have pushed it over to that point of obsession. Okay.
And when I say mantra more than a song, I don't really know who he's playing tribute to musically in this one. Like in his voice, there are some things where you could say vocally, maybe he takes a couple of things from Prince, like that sultry, deep tone that Prince will do every once in a while. And, of course, the falsetto.
But you know what? Because you got to go further back with this. This is what Prince's daddy, Mr. Nelson, John Nelson, was growing up listening to. This is a throwback to the old blues guys.
Okay.
To where it's just a steady, constant, almost like that Chinese water torture where it's just that drip and it's constant. He's just saying the same thing over and over, almost like Lightning Hopkins. Just
I get that, but it doesn't sound like blues.
No, it doesn't sound like
You're
blues.
talking about
I'm just saying the influence. You're like, well, what's that a throwback to? Because also, Lenny's not going to do a straight blues throwback, or at least not in this point in his career.
Yeah.
Because that's so obvious.
Yep. Well, let's move on.
Press.
Next song, What Goes Around Comes Around. All right, look, this song, there's a lot of textures here, Ken. You got that chill piano. You got the horn accents, the keyboards, the funky bass. But we know who he's playing tribute to in this song. Who are we talking about?
I was about to say Superfly.
That's it. Curtis Mayfield. This is Curtis Mayfield all over.
All over. And Sweet Georgia Brown. If you don't realize that, then that means A, there's hope for you because you have not heard Curtis Mayfield.
That's right. As a whole, this song is the Curtis Mayfield tribute.
No bones about it. And you know what? Hey, I wish more people in this world would say, hey, I'm just going to pay homage flat out and not even hide it, not even disguise it.
And we talked about that falsetto. Curtis Mayfield is king of the falsetto.
If you have not listened to the Superfly soundtrack, I know we're talking about Lenny Kravitz right now, but he would probably, when he listens to this, he will smile because we told y'all, go listen to the Superfly soundtrack.
Right. And look, Curtis Mayfield had his first career with the Impressions. People get ready.
People get ready.
That's right. Okay.
And if you're like, I never heard that song.
I've been trying. Man, there's so many great songs from the Impressions. They were a great vocal act in the 60s. Okay, but then Curtis is like, I gotta fly, man. I gotta let my flag fly.
Yep.
And then he did Superfly, and then he became this heavily influential soul funk artist from the 70s.
Oh, straight up.
On top of all of his great work in the 60s.
The reason we have bongos and congas in music after Superfly is because of Curtis Mayfield.
Right. And look, there are a couple of other influences on this song too. Towards the ending, you have this like jazzy freak out, clear tribute to Miles Davis. Okay, because Miles Davis, the king of that experimental jazz. Okay, and then at the end, gonna take you higher. Come on, straight up tribute to Sly. This is where he's playing tribute to Sly Stone.
Yes.
At least in the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where it would be more appropriate to say, hey, this is where Lenny meets Sly Stone. Okay, but not the overall sound, Curtis Mayfield, but individual parts, throwing some Miles Davis, throwing some Sly Stone.
Yeah.
And you could tell what he was jamming to when he wrote this song.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I like that you caught the Miles bit because his parents, they not grew up, but living up in New York before he was born, and even after he was born, they saw Miles there, because Miles was in New York, so they were all there at the same time, and they would go catch his shows and watch his sets.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because Miles was progressive, and again, Lenny's parents are daddy's white, mama's black, and back in the 60s when he was born and when they were a couple, it wasn't cool like it is now. So they went where they went, but when you are comfortable and amongst your own, which being with Miles Davis.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I think I watched a documentary on Miles Davis. I think he had a white wife at one point in time, or white girlfriends in France.
Yeah, he had a white girlfriend in France, yes, and he played soundtrack for a movie out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to track 7, Ken. The Difference Is Why.
Yeah.
Now, in your ears, who's he paying tribute to?
And again, that's what I love about Lenny Kravitz.
He wears them on his sleeve.
Yeah. And you gotta remember back then, defining him, pigeonholing him, not so much. So I hear this song start off, and I'm like, well, it has...
Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. Because you got a Fender Strat going. It's arpeggiated. Well, Fender Strat with that... tonight when I go to bed, I'll be able to tell you the two effects that are on the guitar. Right now, no. But you have the Fender Strat with Jimmy's effects. It's arpeggiated in a la Steve Cropper fashion. Steve Cropper guitars for Otis Redding.
That's right.
Booker T and the MGs. So just that whole sound. And then that trippy, more so on the 1 and 3, vice the 2 and 4, which comes from Liverpool, England.
The Beatles.
Lads. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about Lenny on this album is like some of the influences are in your face. The Curtis Mayfield, the Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
The Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
You can't escape it. But the things like the Steve Cropper deal, where, you harken back to Memphis, or even the Beatles influence, a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Like that Plastic Ono Band influence,
Yeah.
straight ahead,
Straight.
punching you in the face.
Yep.
Other influences, you hear them subtly. And this is one of those where some of the influence is obvious, other parts not so much, man.
Yeah. Wow. And you pointed that out, and as I heard you, it just light bulb went off in my head like snap. It's possible that Sean and Lenny actually knew each other growing up.
Yeah.
Because their parents, they lived, they were in New York City. because the Jeffersons were filmed there. Their parent, just fill me on this. Jeffersons filmed New York City. Lenny is spending time growing up in New York with his parents.
But you really think John and Yoko are hanging out with Roxy Roker?
Considering that she's a celebrity, she's on television, so that window of 15 minutes, and also the fact that, wow, so we have one mixed couple and another mixed couple, we have mixed kids, just commonality, or just that their paths cross. They both are lovers of music. They're both, as far as both couples, they're running in the same circles, so it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying like they were that both couples getting together.
Yeah, I think you're reaching here, man.
But because I'm listening and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh wow, because we do know that he has interacted with Sean. It's possible it's gone back, same way it did with Slash. Just again, because our parents, they have their lives, we have ours.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, I've read so much
on
John Lennon's biography,
but I'm just
and Roxy Roker has never been mentioned in any John Lennon biography I've ever read.
And that's cool.
So let's move on and get back to the song.
Yeah. I'm sitting here, you're talking, and that's just the idea that popped in my head. So I articulated.
Yeah. So Steve Cropper.
Oh.
No, but really though, man, it's the Sean Lennon thing. We'll talk about that when we talk about the song Sean wrote with Lennon on this album. Excuse me. All right, but for this one, again, he's kind of going back, not so much a mantra, but one steady beat throughout the whole song. It doesn't really go up and down, but his voice does. The vocal does, but not the actual sound of the song.
Which is the part that adds that Beatle-esque influence.
Absolutely. And, we talked about, that there was hope before.
Yeah.
And then there was desperation. My man is in pain here. So much pain. Now he is in full-blown denial. Okay. You say you can't trust me. Have you tried? You say you don't love me. That's a lie. Dude, take the woman at her word. She doesn't love you, Lenny. You're in denial, my man.
Just accept and move on, brother.
Let us move on.
Yeah.
Song number 8. All right. Stop Dragging Around.
All right. And you know what? I'm glad he put this song after song 7 that he chose.
Because he's picking us up.
Yes.
He's picking us up.
It's like he exposed himself in 7 and realized that, wait a minute, I'm acting out here in public. Everyone's watching. All right, hey, let me get myself back together.
No, absolutely, man. And look, I love this song. He starts off introducing the instruments from the control booth.
And I love that.
Okay. That bass groove on this track, this is my favorite bass line in the entire album. And that bass pops out of the speakers on this album too.
Yep.
And this one right here, just love the way that bass comes through on this song. And then that guitar solo.
Oh, I love when that Strat comes in too on this.
It just didn't last long enough, man. I wanted that guitar solo to continue. It's almost like, because this is only a 2.5 minute song.
Yeah.
He could easily made it a 3-minute song and gave us, a few more bars on the guitar there.
Yes, it's almost like that 70s toward the end of AM rock and roll, just straight up all out 2.5 minutes.
Right. And singing wise, definitely, feeling that Sly and the Family Stone influence here.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit of Jimi Hendrix mixed in, a little bit of Cream, again, swirling that pot. But this is a rock song. But it sounds like it could have easily been transported back to 68 or 69 and would have fit right in place.
So that's interesting, because the day Hendrix died, when he took those sleeping pills, was so he can go to sleep, because in the morning when he woke up, he was going to go jam with Sly and the Family Stone.
I know, man.
And
God.
This might have been a result, or the sound that would have came out from that jam.
I think you're right, man. You could easily hear that, right?
Yeah.
But this would have been where Sly's like, hey, I got a horn section.
Yeah.
Let's throw some horns.
Yeah,
Lenny doesn't have the horns here, but Sly would have made sure that Jimmy Sly collaboration would have had some horns on it.
Larry would have popping some bass then, too. But slapping it.
Oh, goodness. Moving on, Ken. Song number 9, Flowers for Zoe.
Yeah.
And this one, I know it's supposed to have a lullaby feel, but it sounds sinister. It's almost like you have what's that clown? Pennywise in the sewer. Like you're walking a little field of flowers, there's Pennywise looking at you.
Yeah, I only think it sounds sinister because of the equipment and what he did at that point in time.
Because he has that haunting guitar lick early on, okay? And he adds a cello to good effect, I must say. You know, you put a cello in a song, it can add to it. And he's not afraid, as we've seen, to take these rock songs, these straight ahead songs, and add different instruments to add more textures to the songs.
Yeah. Now, I will say, one, this is the first song in his catalog about Zoe. And
why is that important?
Well, Zoe is his daughter, his little girl, his only child. And, well, as a father, we understand having a daughter, even no matter how many kids you have a daughter, she's got you. That's just flat out. Sky's blue, water's wet. Your little girl's got you. And what I love about and appreciate about Lenny, from here on in his discography, he will have a song about his mama and his daughter.
Nice.
Pretty much on every album from here on out.
Nice. And yeah, his daughter's a pretty famous actress, model, and musician.
Yep.
That's right. And look, musically, not one of my favorite songs on the album.
No, but the intent and purpose of it, all day.
You can't fault a man who wants to write a song about his daughter.
And his fathers with little girls, yeah, we're all about that.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Let's move on, man. Song number 10. Now, we've already heard this song because this is a reprise of the first song, Fields of Joy. Fields of Joy.
Yeah.
And pick a psychedelic band of the 60s. Maybe Magical Mystery Tour era Beatles.
Thank you. I was about to say the whole reprise thing. Yeah, this is also the Beatles.
And this is the same as the album opener lyrically. Okay? It's a psychedelic droning version of that opener. You slow the tempo down. You drown it in noise. Okay? There's a little bit of a Crimson Clover vibe going on. Okay? But Lenny's singing through a vocoder. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And he adds the psychedelic strings, and he changes the sound of the song. But which one do you prefer, the opener or this reprise?
I prefer the opener.
I'm with you on that. You know, I'm with you.
The reprise.
I think so. I think throw it on a single, Lenny. Throw it on a B-side.
Bingo.
Or they used to have those like maxi single CDs that had 4 songs on it. Make it the 4th song down on one of those CD singles.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Song number 11, Ken. All right. Now, we talked about Sean Ono, Lennon, earlier.
Yep.
Okay? And this one, Lenny wrote with Sean, All I Ever Wanted. And Sean was only 15 or 16 when he wrote the song with him.
He's our age.
Okay? And Lenny plays most of the instruments on the album himself, unless he has some guest spots.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Lennon actually played the piano on this song. Okay? Yeah. And Lenny's vocals, soulful. You could tell the man's going through a breakup. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, this is almost the acceptance part of the album. You know? Or just reflection and the regret.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll tell you what, though, man. By far, my favorite vocal performance on the album.
You know, this one had to grow on me because I know that you love it. I thought other tracks, just sitting knowing that, okay, yeah, Sean wrote something on this track with Lenny. I thought it was earlier tracks until I realized it was this one's like, oh, really? Wow. And then realizing, well, okay, Lenny, you really have a strong Beatle influence. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you evolve into the musician that Lenny is.
Well, I grew to like this song. When I heard this song 30 years ago, when this album came out, not a fan. I wasn't.
I feel you.
And I was disappointed because, John Lennon's son is writing a song with Lenny Kravitz.
You were expected blown away. What? This is Strawberry Fields flipping tables over.
I wasn't blown away 30 years ago. As I grew older, and I kind of see where Lenny's coming at in this song.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Now, at this age, is when I'm like, oh, wow, that was a really great track that I wasn't mature enough or I hadn't been through enough life yet to appreciate it.
Now, look at it from this end. Imagine, because, again, Sean's our age. So imagine 30 years ago when we were kids, if you went into a studio and sat down with a man who was going through life and you're only 15 and you're writing a song because, hey, I've learned to do 3 things in my life. You know, one's clean up after myself, one's just myself, and I can
wait. Time out.
Sean, that is.
That boy never had to clean up after himself because he's rich. Well, he never had to dress himself.
No.
Okay.
But hey, that was me being PG for the show because normally I just say I can only do 2 things at 15. And I ain't perfected them either, but it's been wipe my backside and write songs. I ain't perfected either one, but here I am now at 15 in the studio with a man who's going through it.
Right. Now, to be fair, Sean Lennon encountered tragedy as a young boy.
True.
So he's coming from this weird place where he's encountered tragedy, but he's also a child of privilege.
Yo, straight up.
Like Lenny. So they have that commonality. Yeah, exactly. They're children of privilege.
Exactly. And I'm going to say it again. Their parents crossed paths in the same circles. Yes. Now, as far as tragedy, that no more than any other kid, unfortunately. There are other kids who are poor, middle class, who also, child of tragedy also. Privilege, absolutely. Definitely.
Well, but the tragedy in Sean's case was public. And it happened to be with one of the biggest public figures of all time. That's facts. I mean,
no, that's fact too. But when he's little, it's, hey, that's my daddy.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, it's interesting that he wrote this with Sean because that screaming towards the end of this song, that's full on primal scream. Yep. Primal scream, Plastic Ono Band. Yep. Okay, and so I knew, like, okay, he's throwing a little shout out to your daddy, Sean, from his best album. Yeah. Absolutely. But really, a really catchy song, another divorce song. Lenny, all that pain is there.
Yeah.
All that pain is in his voice.
And that strap with the effects on it, straight up Hendrix.
And all he ever wanted was love, Ken. we know relationships are a little bit more complicated than that.
Yes.
All right, moving on.
Press.
Number 12, When the Morning Turns to Night. And to me, this is the bastard child of Prince and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Straight up.
It really is. But musically, when you're kind of putting those influences into a song, a little disappointed. One of my least favorite songs on the album.
And you know what? I can't really argue or fight you on that.
No, I mean, seriously, like if I hear a song where I'm saying, okay, I hear the Prince vibe, I hear the Jimmy vibe, but why isn't this sounding right to my ears?
What I do appreciate about this song, and it's not so much this track itself, is that this song shows us how Lenny evolves in time. As a hindsight thing, listening to it now.
Yeah, this is a sophomore album, right?
Yeah, 21st century. It's like, oh, okay, this is the platform that you're jumping off of. I hear that. Do I care for this platform you're standing on before you jump? But at least I see where you came from.
Right.
I can hear, okay, this is where your evolution grows.
I think the bigger issue here, whether it's with this or the reprise to Fields of Joy, there's 14 songs on the album. Could have made it a 12 or 11 album.
Yep. I agree with you.
If you put 12 or 11 songs on the album, nobody's going to complain.
Still solid.
And I think at that point, you're making it a tighter, more cohesive album.
Yep. Anything more than 10 to 12, 11, 12, you're golden.
Yeah, and if you have more than that, you're bound to have some filler. Like
Yeah.
most double albums, Ken, I'm not a fan of most double albums.
Come down to one.
Now, albums like The Wall, Exile on Main Street, the White Album, London Calling, I love all those albums. But I would love them a whole lot more if they were all single albums.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do something one of these days where we just take double albums and we pluck our favorite or what songs we would think would make the best single album.
Yeah, the straight up solid single album.
Yeah, we're going to do that at some point. Okay,
yeah.
We're going to take all these double albums that you love and hold so close to your heart, and Ken and I are going to just destroy them and make them single albums.
So stand by, pay attention.
Let's move on to the next track, number 13. What the beep are we saying? Okay, look, I want to ask you, if the title wasn't so vulgar, would this been a potential hit to you? Because to me, it's catchy.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I dig it all the way around. Because you're right. That if it were a more PG-friendly title, I think it definitely would have got airplay, you know?
Yeah, at least an album or like a rock radio hit.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
yeah.
I really think so. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. Lyrically, a little bit sophomoric. Okay.
Yes.
However, he does have this idealism. I mean, in him, like where he's trying to pull all that idealism from the 60s, that hippie vibe that we saw a lot on Let Love Rule, that flower power. And that was also an era of like so many protest songs. And so this is his protest song.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like the best protest songs, I don't care what issue you're protesting. If you're not having something people can sing along to, you got to write a better protest song.
Yeah, because that almost defeats the purpose of the protest song, because it's there to unify and rally the people.
You know, and
get them on board.
We talked about the horns earlier. He has a nice little saxophone solo going on in this one. Musically, more John Lennon. Okay, so he's still on that John Lennon vibe, but vocally, Prince and Sly.
Oh yeah, because again with this album, whereas like we mentioned the Lennon albums we're referring to, as far as Plastics Oh No, where you can hear someone who's letting something out, a musician, a competent musician, who is sitting there spending that time in the studio by themselves, laying down tracks, or maybe with one or maybe two other people, but flushing out a song where it sounds raw. And like with this song, where it, you know, comes in one instrument at a time, you know, that is that throwback to that Lennon Plastic Ono. Yeah, this is me getting primal, getting it out.
Yeah, and these last few songs on the album are getting away from the divorce theme. Like When the Morning Turns to Night, talking about drug abuse. Okay, and this one, kind of a protest on society's ills, which we know all about in today's day and age.
Yeah, and the same problem or issue that we're today in the 21st century, live and well with Lenny, because he is a black man.
That's right.
Everything we say, he's still, especially during this time, he's still not getting a cab.
Right.
Here in New York City. He's still getting the funny vibe when he steps in an elevator with someone. So, yeah, he still has that angst, and he's young, so it's there.
And drawing it back musically, he's still pulling on those influences, and there's that little instrumental freak out at the end saying, hey, I'm still hearkening back to the past, you know. I'm throwing some flutes in here, giving a little bit of Pink Floyd vibe there at the end as he's drowning things out, you know, just kind of get a little bit more psychic. Because remember, before Pink Floyd became this huge stadium act, they were a psychedelic band from the UK.
Yep.
Okay. So finally, Ken, we're at the end of the album. An hour later. Last song on the album, Butterfly. And look, it's simple, man. It's just a man with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
You know? And this is another John Lennon acoustic tribute. Okay? And after exploring every single instrument known to man on this album, sometimes it's nice, man. Just pick up a guitar and just sing a little love song.
Yeah. And just let it out. Which is interesting because, like you said, picking up every instrument under the sun. First time I heard it, oh, man. Okay, him and a sitar. All right, sure. It's still very Western, so I was like, maybe it's just him and a guitar. But just a man, an instrument, and his voice.
Right. And we always talk about like strong album closers. And I see bands do this a lot where the penultimate song is like the big, grand, epic finale, just like the song before this.
Yep.
You know, what the beep are we saying, right? But Butterfly, it's that soft number, but I don't know if I like albums ending like that. You know?
So that's funny because when we did The Pretenders, that was what I appreciate about this ending. Yeah, like you said, the penultimate, it's big. And then we're like, okay, hey, it was nice. I had a good time.
Yeah. But 2,000 Miles was a hit. You know, big Christmas song.
But it was still a nice way to wrap it up.
To wrap it up.
Yeah, we're turning the lights on. It's closing time. All right, you got to go.
Closing the door.
We're done. Okay,
fair enough. Now, look, we're talking about an album released 30 years ago. 30 years later, where do you look at Lenny Kravitz in the overall scheme of things? Like, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yet.
Correct. Okay. But also not necessarily a critical darling either. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, he just ripped off all of these great musicians who are in the Hall of Fame. And now all of a sudden, you know, because of his longevity, you know, he's kind of reached that rarefied air of like icon status, but not because he did anything creatively unique.
And so here's the thing. Again, like I said earlier, you only have 12 notes. Okay? Now, as far as being unique, I'm sorry, Zeppelin done. If there was anything creative, they're the last ones to find that last thing creative.
Right.
Okay? And that was 50 years ago. Now, you're not creating a wheel. The wheel's been invented. But what I will say and give Lenny credit for, it's gumbo. Yeah, you can identify each ingredient, everything that's in the gumbo on its own. Oh, this is a piece of sausage. Yep, this piece of okra. And you can eat it individually, and yep, that's what it is. But once you put it in that pot and in that conglomeration, it's gumbo. And that's what Lenny has successfully done for the past, oh my goodness. You pointed out that, it is over 30 years. It just doesn't seem that long.
Yeah.
But now, what he has done that a good true artist will do is that he has evolved.
Okay.
You know, because he's at a point, he started off analog. Everyone else has gone digital. They were digital at this point. He was still doing it old school, old fashioned.
And a lot of bands did throughout the 90s.
Yeah, and they started or would retro back, and that was how he hit the gate running that way. You know, and he has continued to evolve. He gets the accolades as far as awards and whatnot, Grammys and this and that, which, I'm like, oh, wow, really? But he at least is at a point to where, one, he's comfortable in his skin, and two, he's allowed to make the music he wants to make, as far as he doesn't have the company or executives telling him what to do.
Yeah.
So he's living the dream.
And now let's rewind it back before we wrap it up. And I want to ask you another thing. This is his second album.
Yep.
Okay. Better album than the first album?
Yes.
Right? Because we hear about the sophomore slump. But Lenny didn't come out of the gate punching people like Appetite for Destruction or, you know, like with that huge debut album.
The first album was that kid who shows up.
Oh, no.
And you beat him down, but he's spry, and you're like, you got heart, kid. stick with it.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, like when Spider-Man tried to take on Captain America, I went there.
Oh God,
I
keep going,
said
keep going,
And
keep
so,
going.
yeah, he got beat down that first album, but they're like, all right, you know what? You got potential. You got heart, kid. Keep at
We're
it.
not going to cancel your record contract.
Yeah, and so second album, it's like, oh snap! You're showing you could be a contender.
Yeah, not just a contender, because by far my favorite Lenny Kravitz album.
Wow.
This is it.
See,
No, this is it.
me, number 5.
Yeah, I mean, no,
Hey.
to me this is it.
But the point is, he went from all right, you got potential, kid, to at whether we say it's number 2 or number 5, we can agree. All right, he became the champ.
Yeah, and we talk about bands that have that sophomore slump, but I love it when a band gets it right the second time around.
And he truly did with this album.
Yeah, so look, if you've listened to the whole show through this point, we want to know what you think about Lenny Kravitz. We want to know your favorite song by Lenny,
If
your
you
favorite
saw
song
Lenny
on this
live,
album.
let us know.
If you've seen him live. And if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to hear more shows, please hit subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.
Peace.